face and start kicking ass, just like it said at the beginning of the program.
Man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
Sending your ass on the jabroni jet to the other side of the territory, brother.
The Alabama Hammer.
Nightmares on the best part of my day.
The goods from the woods.
Hot damn!
Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. My name is Rivers Langley.
Big Papa Pat! In the place! The podcast space, if you will.
And space is the place. As Son Ross said.
You gotta understand that you're on the iTunes.
If this podcast runs 105 minutes.
Yeah, it runs under 5 minutes, which is 33 and 3% shorter than the Joe Rogan experience. So if you're running at 1.5 times speed, that'll be as long as the Joe Rogan experience.
I'm Sam Harder.
Yes. And we're back.
Yeah, we're back.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's this is our first show back. I've been,
Yeah.
oh, my God. Let's see. I think 6 weeks of me on the road. So
Yeah.
I'm so happy to be back with my boys in Los Angeles.
At
At Disgraceland.
Do you have good road stories?
I have a couple. I definitely wanted to, I said this on an earlier episode, but I wanted to shout out Central Pennsylvania. I had so much fucking fun there. Central Pennsylvania rules, and I think I'm going to do my record in Lewisburg.
Oh, yeah, you told me that.
Huh?
Where at?
Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, which is next to Bucknell University.
Okay, yeah,
Which
sure.
is, more importantly, is the...
They love Buck Cherry at Bucknell.
it's the home of this place, which is where I want to do the record. Civil War cider.
I don't like the idea of this anymore.
Yeah, so
Getting Buck at Bucknell sounds like a Keith Kelly. I do all the small colleges and get Buck at Bucknell.
I get Buck at Bucknell. I did get Buck at Bucknell, and it was super fun. And this room is made completely out of wood. Wood on the floor, wood on the ceiling, wooden walls, and when you're doing stand-up in there, the audio, it just sounded fucking great. It's pretty small, so it'd be easy to fill. And I think I talked to Kyle Clark. I think I'm going to fly him and me out there to record this thing either in the fall or in the spring. So
nice.
That's the plan. But
That's
anyway,
exciting.
The guy who owned the place makes his own cider, and he was like, "Hey man, you're really funny. Let me give you a growler to go," and gave me, as you can see, about 40 ounces of cider, which And anyone who knows me, I'm not like a huge drinker. I drank all 40 ounces of this in one sitting.
Yeah.
And
That's how you're supposed to do
it was so delicious.
Yeah.
So I'm partially going there to record the album because I liked the sound of the room. I liked the people I met, the response I got to my comedy. But really, the ulterior motive here is just to be able to drink more of this damn cider.
Oh, yeah,
'cause it's so
cider's
good.
great, and I'm happy that cider's getting a renaissance. I think it's one of those, like, happy sort of byproducts of everybody kind of going gluten-free.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
is
yeah.
that cider is...
Toxic masculinity's dying.
Yeah.
No shame in my cider.
Cider is great. That and mead is coming back.
Oh,
So,
mead,
yeah.
which is made with honey?
Made
correct?
with honey, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I wanted to shout out Pennsylvania, Boston. Had an amazing time in Boston, and I have a joke that I do that I always thought might be a little too mean, where I talk about going to Ireland and seeing a bunch of people fighting in the streets, and the joke is, I'm like, oh, this is where Boston came from, right? But
I like it.
oh, I always thought it was mean, but I'd never been to Boston, so I was always just like, okay, that it might be a little shitty, but it gets a laugh. And then I went to Boston, I'm like, nope, it's real. It was graduation day at 10 of the 40 universities there. So there were just fucking knuckleheads brawling in the streets. It was fucking perfect.
Yeah, that sounds about right from everything I've heard.
I walked I had 2 shows, one over by Faneuil Hall and one over by Boston Common. It's like a 10-minute walk between the two. And in the walk, I saw like 2 fights. And then after the show over at Boston Common, we walked out and there was like another fight in the street. Shout out to our friend Steak Pliskin, who's a longtime listener of the show, who came out to see me. Got to meet him and his lovely better half in person. And we went and got
That's
tacos.
fabulous, yeah.
It was great, man. I met so many cool people that listened to the show.
think that you saw a number of listeners.
A bunch, yeah. So shout out to everybody who came out and said what up. And I met listeners of the show in Richmond and in Brooklyn and in Pennsylvania, just all over the place, man. So it was really cool.
Worldwide, goods from the woods.
Yeah.
East Coast wide, baby. But yeah, no,
I'm just fascinated to make them. I wonder what they think I am, because like the weird shut in.
Oh no. I think the most questions I got obviously were people being like, "Where's Mr. Goodnight?"
Where's Mr. Goodnight?
And I legitimately was like, "Yo, I fucking don't know. Have you heard the show?"
Yeah, we have no idea.
He is off the goddamn map.
Yeah.
As soon as I figure out, you guys will be the first to know. I have theories that involve Missouri. I have other theories that involve
Missouri,
Florida. Georgia. Who the hell knows?
Florida, Georgia, South Kakalaki.
Yeah.
You don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah.
I constantly wonder how disappointed people are that I'm on this podcast.
Oh no! I will say I actually, because that was the first question, and I'm like, I don't know where Goodnight is, but it's lucky that I have, my next door neighbor is also fucking hilarious in a totally different way, and resoundingly everybody was like, yeah, we love Sam. So you've been embraced by the Goods from the Woods Studiverse for sure. But yeah, so it was good. It was good overall. I loved Richmond, Virginia. I wanted to shout them out.
I know a lot of people that really do like being in Richmond.
Richmond had the vibe that I don't even know how to put
Upper Ghent is like a neighborhood there that's
I have no idea where I was, but it had the vibe of like the way people talk about Austin in the 90s of just like borderline crust punks building a cool thing before it got kind of like co-opted by whatever techno Silicon Valley guys. And Richmond had that vibe of like, oh, this is like a low-key cool city that you wouldn't have expected, sort of a thing. So we did the show at Castleberg Brewery, which was fun, but then we went to the open mic. And I can't remember I know I texted Pat. I can't remember if I texted you, Sam, but we're sitting there at the open mic. This particular mic, it was the last night that this host this guy had been hosting the mic for years and he was moving away, so it was his last night hosting. So every comedian in Richmond was at this place called Home Sweet Home, which is a bar that also does grilled cheese sandwiches, and it's packed the fuck out with people. The mic is crazy. I got to go on last, which was fun, but about halfway through the set I'm sitting there talking to the couple people I'd met in town, and then all of a sudden a hush sort of like fills the room and somebody walks by and goes, "Brown Frown the Clown is here."
Oh no.
And I was like, "Did you say Brown Frown the Clown?" And they're like, "Yes, indeed. He is back, making his shocking return to the Richmond comedy scene, Brown Frown the Clown." And I'm so conditioned because of the way Los Angeles is that I'm like, oh, I just assume this is a crazy person and it's gonna suck, or not even suck, but just be like bad and interesting because it's a man painted up as a clown. And
he was in full face paint?
Oh, yeah. It was a guy, he had, like, fucked up, horrifying face paint. I mean, he looked like, he would not be out of place in, like, a haunted house thing of, like, a scary clown, But not, like, a aggressively scary clown, just like a clown that probably also does smack and murders people. Like, kind of that vibe.
Yeah.
A down-and-out clown, a clown on the skids.
A real Gacy type.
Yes, yeah.
Real twisted.
Yeah, twisted. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, they're good.
Yeah.
But he's sitting there and I'm looking at it and like I said, I'm fully ready for this to be like dumb but funny.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Like, this dude is legit a great writer and his shit was perfect, and he wrote this like amazing send-off for this guy I didn't even know, and it was really kind of touching. And then at the end he pulled down his pants. I saw his entire ass. There was fake poop involved, and the sketch ended with the now former host of the show and the new guy taking over, picking him up and throwing him into a bathroom and shutting the door. And in the process, the guy playing Brown Frown the Clown legit broke his finger.
Wow.
Like
this guy's probably like tight with Guar, because aren't they from Richmond?
Yeah, they're from Richmond. Yeah,
so he's probably like in like one of like Odorous'
possibly
pals.
Yeah. Everybody, obviously knew him and like respected him. And from what I understand, he does a lot of other characters, but Brown Frown was like, the thing that kind of put him on the map, and he hadn't done it in a while. And so it was brilliant. The whole thing was fucking brilliant. So yeah, big shout out to Richmond. I mean, I don't know. I really had a great time pretty much everywhere. And
Cool.
yeah, so
I was gonna
good.
be disappointed if there wasn't asses or poop involved. Brown frown.
Yeah, brown.
This could only go one place.
Yeah.
You name yourself Brown Frown the Clown. There's a certain expectation.
Richmond's cool though. One of my favorite rappers right now from Richmond, Nicholas Ev.
Nicholas Ev. All right.
F.
Oh, F. Oh,
I just
gotcha.
said it bad. But yeah, check him out.
Okay. I'm excited to come back to all these places. Shout out to DJ Lewis, our show in Knoxville.
Nice.
DJ has added to his closer a spacesuit that he puts on and wears now, and it's just
Hey, y'all, I'm
it's
for
ju-
fucking space.
It's just the funny. It's the funnest. It's so funny. I always have a great time performing with him, but just goddamn, it was yeah.
You sent me the photo of it. And I was
that's
like,
right, I forgot.
Oh my god,
Next level, man.
this is so fitting.
Space is the place, baby.
Yeah.
yeah.
I just imagine him walking around like just his land, wearing that outfit with his dog.
With his dog,
Just like-
Sergeant Peepaw.
Yeah. Yo, Peepaw, you want to go exploring?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
So yeah, but anyway, that was pretty much all to report that I didn't talk about on the road ups and stuff. Went to
Yeah.
that giant ass Bass Pro Shop. Talked about that with Monica. Got to see our friend Justin Perlman in Atlanta, which was fun. And so all around good. But anyway. Moving on, great to be back, and excited to talk about what are we doing today, Pat?
Well, I just wanted to say, it was weird because we didn't have and like this is the first time I've really been out of the house doing stuff outside of work because I'm a new dad.
Hey,
Yeah,
oh,
I've been kept that. I actually kept that under wraps for 9 months.
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
show. There's a couple of times on the show where I let it slip, and I was like, "Hey, Rivers, could you cut that?"
Yeah.
But yeah, new dad. Been watching a lot of television.
So when Pat introduced himself as Big Papa Pat,
Yeah, that's very
It's
true.
literal.
Yeah. You just comforting and trying to cultivate and trying to calm down a 10-pound baby boy.
Oh, my
Or
God.
he's 10 pounds now,
Yeah.
10 and a half. Yeah.
Wow.
Little guy. He's a ton of fun. He's cute as a button. While I've been taking care of him, I've been, you hold him and you watch television and you get him to calm down.
I think you and I have been texting more since the baby came.
Yeah.
than ever. It's been fun.
I discovered one thing was that Eddie Money has a reality show. We're going to be reviewing that soon. Real Money on Access TV. That's going to be huge.
I can't wait.
I was gonna ask, what are you watching with the baby?
The same stuff. A lot of Antiques Roadshow. That's my jam. And listening to a lot of YouTube synthesizer lullaby.
Oh, okay. I thought you said
stuff.
U2 for a moment. I was like,
no.
Just
one,
listen to-
uno, dos, tres. Yeah.
Catorce. Yeah.
I'm gonna. No.
Hey.
My 6-week-old loves The Edge.
He's a big Larry Mullen Jr. fan.
Son, this song is called Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me.
The song. Yeah.
It's from Batman Forever,
Yeah.
your father's favorite film.
Oh yeah.
A great
No,
soundtrack. Let's
Yeah,
be
there's
honest.
a lot of like good stuff on that soundtrack. Actually.
You know what's funny? I was talking about this yesterday with somebody.
Because it's like people know "Kiss from a Rose," but there's like some there's Nick Caves on it and stuff.
Flaming Lips.
Yeah, Flaming Lips.
When
and stuff.
I in high school got Clouds Taste Metallic, the last track is Bad Days, and I was listening to it and I was like, oh, this is the song from Batman Forever when the Riddler's trying to pick out his costume.
You're sort of stuck where you are.
I mean, that movie stinks, but it's just like
Well, what I think happened, it's weird. I was over at our mutual friend director Keith Blomberg's house watching Money in the Bank and Game of Thrones yesterday, and I was talking about this with somebody where I think they blew all of their money for the soundtrack on Seal and U2, and so the rest of it is just like kind of indie bands that were just signed to Warner Brothers, so they could pay like low rate for them.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Just been I'm playing records for the baby. It's fun.
Have you showed the baby pro wrestling yet?
Yes, we did watch pro wrestling. He was really into the what match should we watch? Crap! It was like New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Okay.
So
The good stuff.
the good
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. He's gonna be subscribed to the Wrestling Observer.
very soon.
A Meltzer baby.
A Meltzer baby, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, he makes Randy Orton faces a lot, which is really funny.
Oh man, when he could start lifting his arms and doing the pose.
Yeah, yeah.
That'd be great.
Oh, he raises his arms and
okay.
He has this thing where he has certain, like, when he goes to the bathroom sometimes he needs a little extra oomph.
Yeah.
And he'll do like the Mario lifting his fist sort of thing. Like, but he's great. I love him dearly.
Oh man.
And I every time he throws up on me, I love him even more. And that's saying something.
Yeah, I think I texted you. I was like, "How's dad life going?" You're like, "More vomit than I even anticipated."
Oh yeah. I mean, he is like you try and cut him off from eating, and he just gets belligerent and vomits. So it's like you're a little bouncer. You're a bouncer trying to wrangle a little.
Oh man, have you shown him the Sooty show yet?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got Sooty puppets. It's pretty dope.
Oh, you got puppets.
We got the puppets.
So you're acting it out live now.
It's great. We're really it was Jeff Cobb versus Tai Chi. That was the match that we watched.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's been fun. But I've been running through my head the theme for today's episode.
Yes.
You just think about goofy stuff.
I was going to say, today's theme very much is a I've been up with a baby for a long time theme that is born of of the early stages of madness, it seems.
Yeah, it's I call this script notes. This is a script notes podcast. We're I think every comic, and I don't consider myself a comic, but anybody that kind of is a comic or dabbles in stand-up comedy has ideas for scripts.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's their their end goal, or they just are like screwing around and just being weird and being like, I got this idea for a dumb movie.
Yeah.
And boy, I've got a few.
Yeah,
and
I want to hear.
I did mention that you like early on you had one about Achilles. The Juggalo, my Struggalo. So I figured that we all have ideas for these kind of dumb movies, and I thought we could just workshop them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, our little treatments.
Yeah. I guess I'll because I've a couple of short ones.
Yeah.
So when Get Out came out, there was a big deal made about the fact that Jordan Peele is a comedian, and they were like, "Oh, it's a comedian tackling a horror, as a genre." Mm-hmm. And I'm interested to hear from you guys, but I think this might be sort of a across the board thing, because most comics that I know kind of think about horror a lot of ways, because in many ways comedy and horror work exactly.
Our lives are a horror.
Well, yeah, they're a horror, but in many ways, horror works the exact same way, where you're concealing what you're about to do, right? So with comedy, you're setting it up so you can get an involuntary reaction, which is the same thing as horror. You're setting a mood so that you can make somebody jump or be frightened.
Little derailment.
Yeah, you're hiding what you're hiding the point or whatever. So it's not surprising that Jordan Peele, as a comedian, would have a great horror script, or several probably by the time it's all said and done in him.
And he's a horror movie nerd.
And he's a horror movie nerd, as a lot of comedians tend to be.
Yeah, either pro wrestling or horror movies.
Wrestling or horror movies, or both, or comic books.
That. Yeah,
it's very specific things like that. The movie that I've been thinking about forever that I think would be great.
Sure.
There's something that they haven't done, to my mind, in a long time, which is every time I've ever seen From Dusk Till Dawn, I always love the fact that film, 2/3 of the movie is just an incredible heist film thriller, and then in the third act, all of a sudden there's vampires.
That's what's great about it.
With no warning. And I love that. And if there was, the difficult thing would be, keeping the spoilers off of the internet and stuff like that. But I've always thought it would be very cool to have, and they had something, sort of in the same realm, but a historical fiction that's 2/3 highly accurate, Saving Private Ryan-esque historical fiction that all of a sudden becomes a horror film. And I've always wanted to set it in the Civil War.
Okay.
And so the closest thing they've had to any of this was that Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Yeah.
Which I think, obviously the subject matter, it's over the top ridiculous just from the title, but I've always thought it would be cool to have a basically the idea would be during Sherman's March to the Sea, one of the brigades gets kind of away from the, gets separated from the main group of Union soldiers going through Georgia. So now they're just in the mountains of Georgia, and they're being pursued by Confederates who've also broken off. And then, it's kind of a war movie. And then all of a sudden the Confederates, the full moon comes out and they're all werewolves.
Okay.
So all of a sudden it's just like a werewolf movie. What do you guys think? Is that worth pursuing?
It's good that you made the Confederates the bad ones.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. I think first of all, I just want to say that. Do you have a working title for this?
Dogs of the Confederacy.
Ooh.
Yeah, but
because that would trick people.
Exactly. And so the thing is, like, your marketing would be very crucial.
Yeah.
Because I would want to sucker in as many fucking dads who are super into like watching History Channel all day, I'm saying this as if this isn't me, but you know what I mean, like that sort of thing of like,
like those shows where they just like they have the like really low rent reenactments of like battles where they play like royalty free music like Goldberg's theme song.
Yeah, exactly.
Where it's just like you see like marching soldiers and it's like doo, 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 doo.
Caesar invaded Gaul in the winter of 54 BC. And I've just I think it would be very cool, but again, hard to do in the internet age of that thing of like market it as straight up as possible and don't tell a single person that there's werewolves coming. So that way you're watching it and you're just like, wait, what the fuck? Like, I just want that something about mass confusion and tricking people into watching a horror movie is very interesting to me.
Oh yeah, I love that idea.
Yeah,
that people are showing up the first week and like, fuck yeah, I love war, and then halfway through they're just going, what the fuck did I come to?
yeah. That's
now I was interested why you said the hills of like the mountains of Georgia, like Blood Mountain and stuff like that. I guess that makes sense with like
Blood Mountain's a good title too.
Yeah,
that's a real place.
Yeah, I've hiked and camped it.
As have I.
Why not the swamps of Florida, like the Okefenokee? Because if they're breaking off, like they get lost on their march, it's like they I would imagine there would be more werewolves in the Okefenokee,
in the swamp. I think just geographically that's a little bit too far because they just went to Savannah, which is not not nearly that far south. You'd have to be hella lost to get in the Okefenokee swamp.
Like, wow, we in Valdosta.
The march from why is it? It's Bray Wyatt. We're in Valdosta, man.
My buddy Okefenokee Joe lives here.
Oh my god, yeah.
Swamp wise.
I would love to see a scene where the Confederate soldiers are getting attacked by werewolves, because they would have to all get bitten in order to turn into werewolves.
Right. Well, that's what I was thinking is like the twist ending or something on top of the twist is like the Confederates are fucking werewolves, but then the Union guys are maybe like vampires, or you know what I mean? Like, there's like an extra twist. There's a twist on a twist, And
the main like werewolf could be played by like Danzig or something like that. Like a cameo. But that might be just taking it way too into the kitschy direction.
Oh no, I would love that.
Okay,
that's what I like is that like it's very similar to From Dusk Till Dawn. It's like there is a hard break in that movie where it goes into
they open a door.
It's like
and then everything's fucked.
Everything's crazy because even the bar they go in before everybody turns into vampires is so much different stylistically than everything that's happened before. And I've always just like admired that as a film of just like the balls of just like, we're done with this part of the movie, now it's this, deal with it. So but yeah, that's one that I've had had kind of kicking around in the head there for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, write it up.
I know it's just sitting in there.
Hey, everybody listening, don't steal.
Yeah, don't steal this idea.
We have this on audio track, right? You're gonna mail the idea to yourself.
Yeah, I kind of workshopped that because we started talking about this idea maybe 10 years ago, and I do this as a joke on stage, but it was kind of born out of this where there's outside of my hometown is this place that sell pecans. There's King Brothers pecans and Tommy King pecans. And I have a whole joke about a real story where I went out to one and they were like, "Oh, Tommy and Ed don't talk no more." And like they had like this huge like separation. And so I used to refer to this story as the Great Notasulga Pecan Schism, where like the King brothers separated and had their two, pecan businesses or whatever. And so we started talking about like what would be the origin of that like fight, between the two of them. Mm-hmm. And then for some reason I workshopped this with a past guest of the show we had on just a couple of weeks ago. Johnny Mose and I was sitting in a car going out to get a buffet in Tallahassee, Alabama one Sunday morning. Started talking about this, and I think that's kind of where the Dogs of the Confederacy idea was born. Pat, what's your?
I got two.
Yeah, let's hear.
So the first one, actually, the idea, I have to give credit where credit's due. The first one's like from a conversation I had with my wife because we were talking about the topic that is kind of overarching with this, and she kind of came up with a doozy. So this is like a collaborative joint.
Okay.
She came up with the idea. I've been running it through my head. So check this out. So they have a tabloid convention, like TMZ, all those,
Okay.
National Enquirer, and they have like an expo in Vegas, and so they're having the big party, and it's like the kind of stereotypical thing where it's like, there's the tank with the women dressed as mermaids swimming there, and then like the guys, the scantily clad like muscly dudes as waiters, giving them like giant martinis and stuff like that. Just like a real sort of like the world's biggest bottle service. And then somebody comes up with the grisly discovery of a person who's like folded in half, essentially.
Okay.
Person's just like folded in half at the waist. And the police are there, and they unfold the person, and they realize that his bottom ribs have been removed. And they're just like, the cops like, "Oh man, it's kind of like Marilyn Manson." And the other cops like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Oh, you ever heard the one about Marilyn Manson?" And then he tells the story about Marilyn Manson and the ribs getting removed. And throughout, so like people are kind of unsettled, and throughout the course of it, this is like a Saw style like it's a thriller, so it's kind of like Seven, but it's like torture, like Saw, where it's like some guy some person in a mask. Like I think they're wearing like a Gary Condit mask or something like that, or somebody like some tabloidy like person, that's like always in the tabloids or something, and they kidnap people, and they're just like, "Have you ever heard the one about Richard Gere?" And like they do all these like
where they shove a gerbil up his ass.
All these like
urban legends,
things? Like tabloid things.
Oh, that's
essentially,
amazing.
where it's just like, there's one where it's like, one person's driving and the guy pops up from behind and is like, "You ever heard the one about Paul McCartney?" And he like pulls the wheel and the car crashes. And then like he's replaced by one of the cops, but everybody's just like, "Yeah, something's a little bit off about this guy," Have you ever heard the one about Rod Stewart? And it's just like all these things, and
that's amazing.
And it's just like, so it's a thing where
it's Keith Richards who had the complete. They drained all of his heroin-soaked blood.
Yeah, you could do that with Keith Richards,
Oh, this is brilliant.
And you hit him with all the things, and then it gets revealed whoever it is. I'm not sure who it is.
Yeah,
like Perez Hilton.
Yeah, but I think...
there you go.
It could be Perez, but I imagine Perez, like, being killed he'd be like the Paul McCartney one.
Oh, okay,
right, where he's driving, and they're just like, "Man, Perez has changed a little bit."
He seems less gay.
He's put on some weight. He lost all that weight, and now some of that weight's back.
His double is straight now.
Yeah, but it's like one of the cops, because it's like Paul McCartney being replaced by that cop. But it could be like whoever it is. It could be like Corey Feldman or Cher or whoever. It's
Brittany.
It's
Brittany, bitch.
Yeah, it's Brittany.
Yeah, for sure.
Brittany's been doing it. Yeah. Brittany's the one where she like, takes off the mask and she's like, "It's Brittany, bitch." You know?
I had a mental breakdown.
she's getting back at everybody.
That's what I mean. They told you to leave me alone.
Yeah. And then she like, yeah. Takes an umbrella and just like decapitates somebody. Yeah. So yeah, that's one idea though.
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, Jen thought of the. So I don't want to like do like like James Joyce and just jack all my wife's ideas. Like my wife thought of the general idea of like, I'm surprised that nobody's done a horror movie using like urban legends.
Well, they did like, I guess I still would. Or is there one called Urban Legend?
I think so, but it's like the thing. But it's not like celebrity urban legends.
Right. Yes.
And I'm just imagining like somebody just like,
Have you heard the one about Michael Jackson? Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Yeah. Someone gets like fucked to death by a mud shark, like Led Zeppelin.
Oh, yeah. It's just like all these like kind of urban legends. Yeah.
Oh, that's outstanding.
Yeah. The other one that I thought of, I've been kicking this one around for a while. And then recently a podcast called Team Tiger Awesome Show, which is connected to Chris. Like, I think they're on the Jericho network, like Chris Jericho's.
Talk is Jericho.
Yeah. Like, or at least they shout them out. It's they had an episode where they talked about turning video games into prestige movies, right?
Yeah.
Like prestige films. And one of the guys on the show did this, so I got to give credit to them. They've kind of broached the topic first, so Team Tiger Awesome Show, check them out on iTunes. So they went in the direction of the music element of this title. NBA Jam the movie.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I like it.
Check this out. All right. So they went in the direction of jam being a music jam, an NBA music jam, right? Check out the show.
Yeah.
So this is my idea. All right. So it's the NBA All-Star Game 1994, and they're playing wherever, Dallas, whatever. Suddenly, the henchman of a former Soviet republic, the dictator of a former Soviet republic, kidnaps all of the NBA All-Stars. Right? Just all of them. Just all the ones that were there. And there's 2 from each team.
Yeah.
Right? And, and so what he does, and at first I thought it was like, it could be like Kim Jong-il or Saddam Hussein, but like, I'm thinking like some kind of like Raul Julia as M. Bison sort of guy, right?
Yeah.
He kidnaps him, and what he wants to do is he wants to create, not unlike Space Jam, like the ultimate basketball league, but he's a sadist, so it's like Kumite, right? and when all the players are kind of imprisoned, he feeds them full of like steroids and like radiation, kind of like a radioactive spider sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that is what allows them to like dunk like way up in the air and stuff like that. And have the giant heads. Like it kind of deforms them, but they are like they can jump like 30 feet in the air and do
catch a ball on fire.
Yeah, catch a ball, like ball goes on fire. It's based on that sort of thing.
So it's like an X-Men.
It's like an X-Men situation.
Yeah,
exactly.
Fantastic Four, I guess.
Yeah.
They're exposed to radiation and it changes them physically.
So he's doing this, and it's like a Kumite style tournament where they're like playing. Like not to the death, but like it's
the loser should get killed.
Yeah, something like that, right? but I wouldn't say the losers get killed because we could just figure that out. But they're all sitting
Scottie
there.
Pippin's got to die.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're
not
all,
even him. We could lose a couple of Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, they're in
from that era.
I
94,
want,
they were good.
Yeah, I want Larry Johnson and Zoe to survive. But so they're all in like prison, right? And they're all just like, man, who's gonna save us? And one of them's just like, what about Michael Jordan? Will MJ save us? And they're like, nah, he's out in space trying to save the Looney Tunes.
Because Michael Jordan famously not in NBA Jam.
Not in NBA Jam, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, what about Gary Payton? And it's like, well, Gary Payton, I don't know where Gary Payton's at, or it could be Shaq. They could be like, oh yeah, he's like trying to get Shaq Fu made or something, right?
Yeah, he's got his own video game deal. He can't appear in this title.
Like, yeah, he's like, yeah, he's filming Kazam. So it's the plucky story of I'm trying to think of who it would be, but I'm thinking it would be Sean Kemp and Detlef Schrempf. like trying to work their way through this tournament to save all the NBA players from being killed by this this evil dictator. Right? So it's like they're facing each other, right? And then the evil dictator has a side, like a henchman. And he's the one that's like, he's on fire! He's on fire! He's like, he's the announcer, right? And
who's playing the he's on fire guy?
Who knows? Who knows? I have no idea.
We gotta, because that is the line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That guy, because
he's the guy that's just like sitting there and he's like, you know, he's like
Should
that.
be Marv Albert, right?
No, but it's not Marv Albert. It's somebody else. I'm not quite sure, but
we gotta get some star power in that.
We
role,
do
though.
need some star power
in that role.
Yeah, I'm
specifically.
thinking Detlef Schrempf could be played by Dolph Lundgren. And, you know, but
he's somehow even older than.
no, I mean Detlef Schrempf. He's from vaguely that Central European area. Yeah. He's from Germany. And he also like Detlef Schrempf looked old as hell even when he was like in the NBA because he had that like brush cut, like the military brush cut. So anyway, it's basically like Kumite, and they're playing. It's a montage where they play all the teams. And it's like they're playing against Pippin and Horace Grant, and they're just but they're trying to win because their idea is like, if we win, we will get on stage with the dictator and we're gonna kill him, right?
Okay,
we're gonna get rid of this guy. We're gonna like be so hot that we'll set him on fire, right? With our great shooting. So they beat all the teams. They beat all the teams like you would in in this tournament, like you would play to beat NBA Jam,
which is the most unforgiving game you will never beat.
I've beaten
so fucking hard.
I've beaten it. It's really difficult.
It's
That's
so
the only
fucking
video
hard.
game I'm good at. So they think, okay, we've won, and then they're just like, the dictators are like, no, there are special characters. So they have to face, and out from behind, like there's a big sort of raised stage, like kind of this elevator raise effect, like the Brood had in wrestling.
Right.
Comes George Clinton and Bill Clinton.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
And the Bill Clinton's is like, yeah, we're in the game. You just didn't know about this. And George Clinton's just like, you can have George Clinton play George Clinton, whatever.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. And Bill Clinton can be played by Daryl Hammond or whatever. And because this is all CGI, right? You don't expect George Clinton to be doing trampoline dunks, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, they beat them, right? Last second shot. And they're like, "You dictator, we're gonna get. They're gonna kill the dictator, right? And they're gonna figure out what the deal was with that." And then the dictator turns around and pulls off his face, and it was Michael Jordan all along. Because he's just like, all of you other NBA players are terrible. I'm the greatest of all time, like his Hall of Fame speech, right? And he's like, screw all of you, y'all suck. And then everybody like. It zooms in on Sean Kemp or whoever it is. Like, you could do the underdog story of like Clarence Witherspoon and Tom Gugliotta. I'm thinking that one. And then like in his mind, he like flashes back to things he saw. And then he realized that all these like signs and things that he saw were all like products that Michael Jordan endorsed. Like they were all wearing Hanes underwear, and like everybody was just drinking Gatorade. That's what everybody drank.
You could have a tie-in with the Jim Carrey film, The Number 23, where you just keep seeing 23 everywhere.
Yeah. And it's just like all these sort of signs. He was just like, oh, I knew it should have been Michael Jordan all along. And and he pulls off his mask, and it's Michael Jordan, and then the announcer pulls off his mask, and it's Shaquille O'Neal, and they're like, "That's why we're not in the game," and they have to play them, and so it's crazy. I think we'll go. I think I might go. Witherspoon and Gugliotta. For this one, or is it Witherspoon? No, I think it's Witherspoon and Hornacek. I don't know. You'll figure it. Maybe James Worthy and Vlade Divac. That might be the best one because Vlade is hilarious.
Do the Beastie Boys show up in this?
No.
Aren't they? They were secret characters.
Just
for a
Adam
while.
Yauch was in it.
Oh, was it just?
Yeah, I think it was just MCA.
Okay.
But,
and Hillary Clinton, I think,
Hillary
is in
Clinton
it.
was in it. Yeah. I think it would be a little too heavy-handed to go Hillary and Bill.
Yeah, sure.
I think Bill and George Clinton would be great.
Yeah.
George Clinton would just be like, just showing up. Would be amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
And basically it ends with this crazy face-off between the team that goes ahead. We'll say it's Vladi and James Worthy. Why not? Up against Michael Jordan and Shaq.
And Shaq. And I think you could
America rests in the balance.
I think
because there's a button that's just like a giant like you'll shoot a rocket that looks like a big Gatorade bottle.
Yeah.
That has nuclear weapons on it. They'll blow up like.
See, I was
America.
thinking, I was thinking this would need, because it's a tournament, you would need some sort of ticking time bomb scenario.
Sure.
What I came up with, though, because the other thing I associate with NBA Jam, besides like he's on fire, is the big heads.
Yeah.
So it would be funny to introduce the radiation elements.
Yeah.
And then the secret dictator, who turns out to be Michael Jordan, tells them that your heads are going to keep getting bigger.
Yeah.
And eventually they're going to explode.
Yeah.
So everyone's
they're going to unleash it. They're going to unleash it on America.
Yeah.
Right,
Everyone's going to be a big head. But everyone's head is just growing and growing, and they have to get the antidote,
Yeah. And the antidote is Powerade.
Yeah. There you go.
Powerade.
But throughout the whole thing, everybody's heads just get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So by the time they're fighting Michael Jordan, it literally looks like bobbleheads.
Yeah.
just a gigantic.
I'm just waiting for the moment where it's just like the first time it goes, huh, boo. You know?
Is Charles Barkley in NBA
Yeah,
Jam?
Charles Barkley's in it. Yeah, so Barkley's in it. So it could be Barkley and Kevin Johnson.
There we go. Yeah. And their
so-
heads are like the size of
monster size.
the size of the 76 ball at the gas station.
Hell yeah.
Massive.
Huh, boo.
Tiny little bodies.
Yeah. You could go see. I just don't know like what team to go with, because I think you could go, because the thing is that you could go with the Bulls, right, of Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant, but they're featured too heavily in the game,
right?
With like the halftime show where it's like,
because they want to insinuate Michael Jordan, but they can't directly do it.
Horace Grant like dunks and he's just like fist, the thing, and they're like the team everybody played as. I'm thinking you could go with like Scotty Skiles and Nick Anderson, go with the Orlando Magic or something like that, because
they're a good team.
Yeah, but and they've been betrayed by
Shaq.
Shaq Attack.
Yeah.
They have multiple people who shoot threes very good, which is the only way to win.
You could go Harold Miner and Ronnie Cycli. And you could go off the thing where everybody was just like, Michael Jordan was like, yeah, everybody said when you were drafted, Harold, that you were the next me, and you're just a scrub. And then Harold Miner has to prove himself, and then Ronnie Cycli is just like Ronnie Cycli.
And he's DJing.
Yeah, he's DJing in a pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing at the end when it realizes that like, what happens after they
get
win.
the cure, they kill Michael Jordan.
Yeah, and then it's just like what comes next? It's just like, well, they both retire, and Ronnie Cycli goes to Ibiza and DJs, and Harold Miner owns like a chain of tire stores.
Well, no, I think it's
Make
like
them a ton of money.
You need like a sexy Fast and Furious ending where it's like, girls with like bikinis and big butts in Ibiza, and Ronnie Cycli is DJing, and everybody's just hanging out. And their heads are back to normal.
Yeah, exactly. Until the next sort of situation where like the Monstars actually come down.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and that's NBA Jam 2.
Like
the Space Jam.
At some point, Shaq has to make a choice, and he decides to help kill Michael Jordan.
Yeah. He has to make a choice. Yeah, that's the thing that's pivotal, where it's just like.
But that will allow Shaq Fu to enter.
Yes,
like he's now on their team.
That's the side movie where Shaq Fu is the side movie.
He's the Lando Calrissian. He's like a turncoat, but then he turns back to the good side eventually. Yeah.
Shaq Fu: The Return can actually be made into a movie. This could be NBA Jam Tournament Edition, the movie.
Yeah.
I'm thinking with the way like computer animation has come along. This is possible.
Yeah.
They haven't quite figured out that whole Uncanny Valley shit of like the Polar Express still looks weird.
Yeah.
But this is already a weird movie, so who cares? Like, I think get Pixar involved, make this happen.
Or it could be a thing where it's like, it's entirely up to, probably market research or whatever. But like who the protagonists are, you could go with the Shaq, like it's like, Shaq, you were our teammate, how could you betray us? And it's like, I'm sorry, Scotty Skiles. Or it could be it could be you could do a thing where it's like David Robinson, who was in the Navy, real life Navy guy, and him and Sean Elliott.
Yeah.
And they're, maybe the dictator killed Vinny Del Negro. And it's just like, oh man, we gotta, get some revenge for them killing Vinny.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, who are the scrubs? Who are the people that have to go?
I think the Mavericks were like Derek Harper and Mike Iannuzzi or something.
So
like
they
that.
just get beheaded.
Like he only
immediately.
played for like 2 seasons.
Because there's got to be, unfortunately, because we know how gritty reboots work, somebody's got to show up and just be murdered immediately by this dictator.
Maybe Brad Lowhouse. Like him and Blue Edwards are just killed. It's like Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, the Bucks.
Yeah, they killed the Bucks.
Cavaliers were terrible at this time.
Oh, it was what was theirs? It was Brad Doherty and Mark Price. The dictator could kill him, and then when it's revealed by Michael Jordan, he's like, "Yeah, Cleveland, I own your ass." You like that, Craig Elo? He still talks shit about Craig Elo to this day. And it's just like, why? You're Michael Jordan. He's Craig Elo. He didn't block that one shot in that one game, and you're gonna just talk trash about him. It's like Craig Elo is probably owns like an HVAC company in wherever he's from, and you're just gonna like talk bad about him.
Michael Jordan is insane.
Yeah.
If we want to talk about that for a second,
I think that's a damn movie right there.
He's an absolute. Yeah, they should. He'll never agree to do any sort of biography or anything where he speaks in it, I bet.
Yeah.
But he is a fucking psychopath.
As soon as he dies, they're going to have an HBO documentary that's
like
going to win
an
a
American
fucking Emmy.
but not like American Crime Story, but like the Michael Jordan documentary.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
I thought you were playing for the Birmingham Barons there, MJ. It's like, I've nuked Birmingham. Birmingham is mine.
I did the.
They're making my Jinkos right now.
Now fix my Hitler mustache, please. I did the Cracked podcast with our friend of the show, Alex Schmidt, and the theme of the episode was spite and pettiness. And we talked about like these, staggering achievements in spite. Like, for instance, we mentioned Neil Young, as we did on this show, getting hired to Geffen Records. Geffen didn't like his album, so Neil just delivered him 3 of the shittiest records of his career, basically. But that was the thing that came up in that episode, is that like the more money you have, the more you can indulge in your pettiness. And Michael Jordan is the crowning achievement in that, of like, he is literally a billionaire. He has over $1 billion, and he is the pettiest fucking dude for no reason. So I think that's
why he's not in the game.
He's a perfect villain. Yeah,
because they wouldn't give him enough money for him to use his likeness.
It's like and he used all of his endorsement money to buy a Soviet satellite republic. And
to have his father killed.
Yeah. He's
allegedly.
like he bought Belarus.
Hey y'all, Rivers Langley here. I just wanted to take a second to recommend some great podcasts that are available now on Stitcher Premium. The queen of comedy podcasting, Lauren Lapkus, is back with a long-awaited new season of With Special Guest Lauren Lapkus. This is the only podcast where the guest is actually the host. It's entirely improvised, and you never know who will show up. And speaking of improv, you can binge on comedy originals like Big Grande's Teacher's Lounge, which the AV Club says mines pure comedy gold from education's underbelly. Teacher's Lounge is a behind-the-scenes look at the fictional Hamilton High School, as told by 4 of its honors department teachers, played by UCB's Big Grande Improv Group. With Stitcher Premium, you can also get thousands of hours of original and ad-free content like Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend and the classic Comedy Bang Bang. Plus, you get early access to new releases, exclusive bonus episodes, and archives of your other favorite podcasts, plus hundreds of hours of stand-up comedy albums. To get a free month trial of Stitcher Premium, go to StitcherPremium.com and use the promo code WOODS. That's right, go to StitcherPremium.com and use the promo code WOODS. Did I just do an ad? Right now?
You are a sniveling little suck-up sellout full of suffering succotash, son!
Thanks, Roman. StitcherPremium.com. Use the promo code WOODS. Now back to the show.
You know that scene in Rocky IV when they stand up and do the Soviet national anthem and how like foreboding it is. Like I'm just imagining like a similar sort of scene, but instead of the Soviet national anthem, it's like blam 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 boom 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 boom.
Speaking of old NBA, have you guys ever seen the video of Dennis Scott at the children's camp?
No.
He was a NBA player who was on a bunch of drugs, and he shows up to a children's basketball camp that he's supposed to be running, drives his SUV onto the court. He's clearly coked out of his mind. You can find this on it. It's so funny. He has like uncensored rap music blaring from his big speakers. You can hear he's listening to like fucking Biggie's "Ready to Die" or "Life After Death" or some shit. We only need the audio.
This is great. We'll throw this up on our Twitter. You can find us at The Goods Pod. This is Dennis Scott's basketball camp meltdown.
In our top story, puzzling, that's one of the words that's being used to describe events that occurred today at the Dennis Scott 3D basketball camp. The camp was being held at Parkview High School in Sterling. The week-long program is designed to help children learn basketball skills from an NBA player. It's also designed to teach students about being good sports, leading a clean life, striving for goals, and being the best they can be. Dennis Scott, who grew up in Loudoun and now plays for the NBA's Orlando Magic, was talking with the children on this, the final day of the camp. During that talk, those attending became bewildered when Scott began discussing his own life. Scott told the kids he no longer wanted to be referred to as 3D, and then blasted the media for criticizing him and for their accusations that he's using drugs, a charge he denies.
He's so clearly
he told
on
the
drugs.
children not to ask him for his autograph, but rather to ask him about the rage that exists inside him. That contained explicit lyrics. Scott compared some of those lyrics to the songs of his own life. Scott then walked around the crowd of children rambling about his own life.
Talking about live my life where I want to. For all y'all out there in America, if you scared, say you scared. I ain't scared.
I love his glasses.
I'm doing it myself. Because if I don't make it, I can't blame nobody but myself. So I'm putting on my own concert.
There's a bunch of children sitting crisscross applesauce on a basketball court. And the highest man in Florida is just rambling.
Well, he's in Northern Virginia, so
leaving a confused group of students and camp organizers behind. After he left, members of Loudoun Parks and Recreation, who co-sponsored the event, gathered the kids in the school's gym. At this point, we were asked to turn our cameras off and leave the premises. Those attending the camp were called shortly afterwards and told to come pick up their children.
He's on the basketball court wearing a gold button-up shirt and dress shoes.
Like mustard yellow.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I fucking love that.
Don't ask me for my autograph. Ask me about the rage that exists inside me.
That's my new Twitter bio.
Well, I'd be mad too if like that's around the time. That's around the time Shaq left the Magic. So
Yeah.
It's just like, man,
I'm gonna do a bunch of coke and go tell these kids what's up.
So if I don't get what I think I deserve in my heart, I am going to literally retire from basketball and run this camp every day. I don't want to ask for autographs. So what I'm telling y'all is, if I get back in time, do not ask me.
You can hear Outkast.
Yeah.
To explain the rage that's inside of me.
He's referring to it. I think did he refer to it as a concert? What he was doing?
Yeah. This is wicked. Talking about live my life where I want to. For all y'all out there in America, if you scared, say you scared, because I ain't scared.
The Orlando Magic are now concerned about Scott's behavior. GM John
Why?
Oh, they're concerned about his behavior.
Wow.
I do like how he says he's going to retire from the NBA to come to the camp every day.
You will not be able to get rid of me.
Yeah, I have nothing else to do.
I'm going to huff Drano and be here every day.
But yeah, that's
Have y'all ever done spray paint? It's great.
one of my favorite clips of all time.
God, I don't know why I've never seen that, but that is now one of my favorite things I've ever seen.
I'm gonna show off my audio system on my truck every day.
God.
That's amazing.
Sam, do you have any movie premises?
Okay. And this is a sequel, I guess. It's not a completely original idea.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a sequel we've needed for a long time. The Wizard 2.
Now, video
Armageddon.
It's going to take a lot of guts.
You can do it!
A little magic.
You're the best!
And the wizard, Fred Savage. The Wizard.
It was about the kid who was a prodigy at video games. And they had to travel around. They traveled around playing other people who were really good at video games.
Yeah, because that was like a genre of like who's the best at Nintendo, or I'm saving the world with Nintendo movies. Like War Games
War
was like
Games
the most
is the one
known
I
one.
know, yeah.
But there was the ones where it was like we're going to cash in on this Nintendo craze, so we're doing all these like movies. Yeah.
I think Nintendo was involved somewhat with making this because they introduced the Power Glove.
What is that? Power glove. Yeah, well, just keep your power gloves up front, right?
And they made it look like the coolest thing that made your game experience better and made you better at
Yeah, it was
video
basically they made
games.
it seem like Wii.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
So I want to do a sequel to this, modern day, which is going to be a lot different.
Kind of a Cobra Kai.
Yeah. So it's a modern day kid. He's really good at gaming. He's probably, let's say he's an older teen.
Yeah.
Still lives at his parents' house. There is a love interest in this movie. She doesn't like him back, so he is an incel in this one. It's because it's about a modern gamer.
Yeah, sure.
Spends a lot of time on Reddit bashing women.
Yeah.
When he's not being really good at video games, he spends a lot of time on the forums. He goes around to video game tournaments, does win them. He's good at it. He meets the girl he likes at the tournament. She does not like him back.
Yeah.
Of course.
Does he have one of those special video game chairs where it's like a commode?
Wait, is that a real thing?
Yeah, feel free to add anything to this.
They have a video game chair that you could shit in?
I mean, they have ones where you're just like sitting back in it's like a recliner almost.
I've seen those where they have like the speakers built into the headrest and shit.
Yeah.
I've seen those.
Two cup holders, large cup holders, so you can hold like
double game fuel, baby.
Yeah, double game fuel.
He gets on Xbox and says a lot of racist stuff. Nintendo's not going to be a part of this one. Just going to say that now.
We're going rogue with this one.
Yeah, but it's a movie that needs to be made to show what gamers are like now. It's changed. The industry has changed a lot. Also, I guess at the end they should use it to promote a new game coming out, which is, I don't know. That's what they did with the first one. It's where they introduced Mario 3.
Right.
Yeah.
This is how they'll launch like the next like version of Fortnite or something.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's like the Wizard, cruel reality.
Yeah, this is a dark wizard.
Agreed reboot of the Wizard.
Yeah, it shows how gaming is in the modern time. He's trying to make money off of it because you can now.
Right.
Yeah,
He's
Twitch,
trying to get the Twitch stream going.
Yeah, he can't get his Twitch stream going because of how racist and incel-y he is. I think it's a good idea.
Does he get redeemed at the end? Does he become less
like American History X?
Yeah,
I think so. He has to lose the tournament maybe, and then realize why he hasn't focused enough on video games, and it's because he's been on Reddit so much.
Yeah,
trashing women because he got denied at the first video game tournament by the girl gamer he liked.
Yeah, and he was trying to get involved in some sort of like you can interact with the guys on Twitch while I play the video games, and she's like, well, I'm a better video game player than you, and he's like, no, you are not. You're the eye candy.
Women are not gamers.
It's weird because you want a redemptive storyline, but at the same time you don't want those people to ever win.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a bit difficult.
He could lose at the end too. He could lose to the girl.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, she's the hero the whole time.
And then she's like, hey, we'll get together sometime and I'll never fuck you. Just kidding. And she like throws a drink in his face and then roll credits.
So it's
There
like
we
very
go.
sort of, I'm imagining it being very sort of like Eastbound and Down like.
Oh, yeah, there you
kind
go.
of its presentation.
The Kenny Powers of Fortnite.
Yeah,
there we go.
I like that.
That's perfect.
Overwatch, like League of Legends is like one of the big.
That's true too.
Yeah.
You could play that.
But you have to create a fake game.
Yeah, that's likely. A lot of these game companies wouldn't want to be involved because of how racist and misogynistic this gamer is.
Yeah,
in my version. But he's that way so that we all learn a lesson.
Yeah,
he was like the best at playing this game.
Oh,
right? And then he got like housed by like just completely destroyed by like all these new gamers that are coming in. And then he's just like mad and bitter and he's just like goes back home and just like sits in his gaming chair and you know just like gets on his headset and is just like or I'm full of spite and then gets on Reddit and stuff.
Or he was great at like, because I remember when I was in high school, the big one that like everybody was on was EverQuest. Right. And then fucking Halo came out and that was gone.
Because if you were good at EverQuest, those skills do not transfer to Halo.
Right. So it would be the way to maybe play it to make it even more Kenny Powers like is like the action starts and he's like has like the #1 Twitch stream of some game and he's like the best at it. And then some other game comes along and he's made irrelevant. And so then it's him trying to kind of break into whatever the new game is, but he's just like an asshole. You know?
Everybody hates him. I envisioned him not leaving his parents' house a whole lot.
The whole game?
Movie.
the movie he's just in his parents' house?
He's in there a lot. You know, he'll leave to go to tournaments and that's when you find out how really bad he is with interacting with people.
Yeah. Or you construct like you see in the basement it's like more constructed to like be comfortable for him so he doesn't have to leave so you just see like more and more kind of built up around him where it's just like all these kind of like Rube Goldberg sort of things where it like gets the can from the mini fridge over to him, he's like yes, you know.
Just downing Red Bull while he's fucking shaking and playing a game.
No, he's got to have one of them. He's like, oh man, I got a supersized Camelback and I filled it with game fuel. So he's just got like a straw that comes down from the ceiling. He's just constantly.
Well, it's like a weird, like an IV fuel bag holder, and it's filled with 5-hour energy drink. And it's just like drinking.
Oh, he's drinking out of the IV.
Just like Oh,
that's fucking
like and it's there, and it's like kind of rolls it over. It's like all right, we have to maintain performance. So
and he's just whacking off between rounds, hating Reddit or posting on Reddit, hating everybody. I hate to admit this on the podcast, but gamer fuel tastes good.
Oh yeah.
I like it.
I like Code Red. Code Red is fantastic.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There was some oh god, what's the one? There's one that's only available in like Circle K gas stations now.
What?
Yeah, it's like
there's like one that was QT called Ram Jam.
That's what it is. It's it's QT.
Yeah, Rooster Fuel and Ram Jam.
What is Ram Jam?
I don't know.
It's like a energy drink.
It's for gamers, like
no, it's just like regular sort of like energy drink. But the thing is, you can get 64 ounces of it.
Okay.
And I had a like fountain, and I had a friend of mine like we were driving from Atlanta to Athens, and he was drink. He got the 64-ounce Ram Jam, and the entire time he was like singing. He was just going Ram, Black Betty, Bam, Lam, just like doing the kind of part of that song.
Yeah.
And then I think we were in Winder, Georgia, and he's like, "Can you pull over? I have to throw up." Because he'd poisoned himself with.
Have you guys heard about Bang?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was on the road with a friend. He drank 1 or maybe 2 of those in a day and was like physically fucking ill.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah. It's fucking, it's like the strongest energy drink out right now. And they have a whole bunch of gross flavors. They have a champagne flavored Bang, I believe.
Yikes.
Yeah, you'd have to be a real fucking piece of shit to drink that.
Champagne? Or
champagne? Champagne.
They aren't even smart enough to do that.
Yeah. Tastes like wine, sort of.
Yeah.
I saw a guy at a 24-hour gym drinking one.
Was it Luke Jensen?
We're gonna have us a champagne jam. We're gonna have us a champagne jam. Yeah. Come on, let's have some first class fun. Come on, everybody wanna play some.
that's the show. If you have any strange ideas for movies that you want us to hear, we'd love to hear them. We're at The Goods Pod. Sam, where can people find you on the internet?
Twitter, Slam Harder. YouTube, LA Comedy Life. My web series that I'm working on.
Yeah,
please subscribe.
It's fantastic. Check out Sam. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/thegoodspod. We're on Twitter at @thegoodspod. Every episode ever, youtube.com/thegoodspod. Buy a shirt, prowrestlingtees.com/thegoodspod. Big shout out to our friend Richard Eden up there in the Klondike doing the hard work at the Brain Freeze Podcast Network and thegoodspod.com. Pat, having sort of copied and pasted you doing one of these for the past 6 weeks.
That's crazy.
I don't listen because I'm on the show.
So yeah, exactly. So
you still add that?
Oh, so when I was on the road, I kept going, Pat, what should the folks do when they get to iTunes?
I pop up out the corner like the toasty guy.
Yeah, exactly. And so I've just copied and pasted a clean one from a few episodes, and I've done it for the past 6 weeks. So it's you just very non-distinctly going rate, review, and subscribe. So I'll say for real this one, Pat, what should the folks do when they get to iTunes?
Rate, review, subscribe. Tell a friend. It shows the attitude of gratitude.
And if you don't have the attitude of gratitude, Daddy, you're drinking champagne bang.
When you get to iTunes, ask about the rage that exists inside of us.
Song of the week this week. This is our friend Wolffjawn, WOLFFJAWN. He's got a brand new song out this week. It's called Keep On Keepin' On.
Working all day, playing all night. Gotta do the thing that makes the evening right. Who you gonna be? Where you gonna go? Gotta do the thing that makes the evening flow. Keep on, keeping on. Do your thing until the sun comes up. Keep on, keeping on. Oh yeah. Keep on, keeping on. Do your thing until the sun comes up. Keep on, keeping on. Oh yeah. Trying to escape, like running through sand. Gotta get out, gotta get out, gotta get out if you can. Set fire to the garden, watch it burn and blaze. Gotta dig, gotta make it through the maze. Woo! Keep on, keep it on. Do your thing until the sun comes up. Keep on, keep it on. Oh yeah. Keep on, keep it on. Do your thing until the sun comes down. Keep on, keep it on. Oh yeah. Keep on, keep it on. Do your thing until the sun comes out. Keep on, keep it on. Oh yeah. Keep on, keep it on. Do your thing until the sun comes out. Keep on, keep it on. Oh yeah.
The Goods from the Woods was mixed, edited, and distributed by me, Rivers Langley. You can find the show on Twitter at @TheGoodsPod. Our theme song was composed by DJ Smiles. Check him out on Twitter at DJ Smiles.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.